What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dallas Sports. My name is Sammy HT, and today we have episode 11 of the Dallas Sports Pod. Today we will be discussing the Miami Heat and their mid trajectory at the moment, and also talk about the Super Bowl and how the Miami Dolphins can learn from the teams that didn't just make the Super Bowl, but the team that won it. Um, it's been a interesting weekend. I would say that a lot of people were hate watching the Patriots, including myself. I was certainly doing so. Um, Obviously, there was a lot of hype around the halftime show regarding Bad Bunny and him, and I'd actually go as far as to say that it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. It was actually pretty solid. Felt very represented. My mom didn't like it, obviously. Well, my mom didn't like it because of the fact that there were a lot of girls shaking their tails. Um, she didn't like that one bit, which was really funny because she had no idea who Bad Bunny was. She has no idea who Bad Bunny is, which is crazy because Bad Bunny's like the most streamed artist in the world or something. But yeah, he's been popping off, and I felt like that, especially the wedding aspect of that halftime performance. Really, it really did feel like when you were a kid, especially when that kid was sleeping on the chairs and was woken up to go play. I felt that was pretty nostalgic. I completely understand that. Apparently, a couple got actually had their wedding at the halftime show, which is insane to me. I can't imagine either Bad Bunny is friends with that guy, or that guy had to pay a lot of money to even do something like that. Regardless, that must have been a very special moment, and I'm sure there was an entire after party. I don't know if you guys saw after, but these people with their instruments, the trombones and trumpets, and just dancing their way out of the stadium. Um, yeah, that's us. That's definitely us, for sure. He also, when he said all the countries, my country, República Dominicana, that was awesome. That was electric. Um, it was a very fun halftime show, I'd say, and it was a very fun it wasn't a very fun game, I will say, and I guess we'll start there. The Super Bowl took place this past Sunday. Contrary to what other people might tell you, the talk of the town really is about the halftime show, but we do have um, some obligations to talk about the Super Bowl 60, live from Santa Clara, San Francisco, California, or Santa Clara, California, whatever they call it. Sorry. Um, yeah, the game was just over from the start. Even when the Seahawks just didn't put up any kind of touchdowns in the first three quarters, it just felt like it was enough because this New England Patriots offense just was not good. The offensive line was not good. Drake May was not good. Shout out to the Seattle Seahawks defense. They call themselves the Dark Side. They have two cold nicknames for their defenses. So you got the Legion of Boom, and then you have the Dark Side. Sick nicknames. Um, and they are now going to stand the test of time. I don't know where the Dark Side ranks on all-time defenses, but I do think they have to be up there with the all-time great defenses. Best scoring defense in the entire league. They dominated really every single matchup in the playoffs except for the one against the Rams. I picked the Rams to make the Super Bowl and win it. Um, to make the Super Bowl. I don't know if I picked them to win. I think I picked the Bills to win the Super Bowl, but the Bills didn't even make it that far. Um, yeah, the I picked the Rams, and the Rams are actually the team that gave the Seahawks the biggest fight. Um, Matthew Stafford, the MVP, played like the MVP, and he was really the only QB that saw the Seahawks defense along with Puka Nakua and said straight up, like, we're going to like dominate. And he did. Dominate he did, but the Seahawks defense did what the Seahawks defense did when they needed to. They got the stop on fourth down in that very last Rams possession, or second to last Rams possession, and Seahawks made it to the Super Bowl, and then it was just Drake May and the New England Patriots, who were struggling for the most part this postseason, but they were bailed out by really terrible QB play throughout all three rounds. Um, the last round being the AFC Championship game, where it was a QB that had not played QB in 2 years, or he played the position. He's just been a backup, but he hasn't needed to play because, well, the team's been healthy. So now here we are, and the spread was 4.5. I'll say this: it should have been higher to begin with. I think it's not disrespectful to look at what happened with the entire game, the entire year for the New England Patriots, and say that they're still underdogs, heavy underdogs. I don't think it's that crazy to say, but regardless of that, I think there's something to learn. There's a lot to learn from the Seattle Seahawks. There is a lot to learn from the New England Patriots and how they built this roster, how they built this team. And, it all starts for the Seahawks with, moving on from Russell Wilson. That move in and of itself kickstarted the entire thing back in 2022. And it was a risk because I think people forget, but when they traded Russell Wilson, it didn't look like he was in the verge of falling off whatsoever, like at all. He looked like he was still in very, very good shape, but they made the trade anyway. 2 first-round picks, I believe it was 2 second-round picks, and a fifth round pick. And if you just look at the players that they acquired in this trade deadline, in that trade, it's actually insane. So they used their the 2 first round picks they used on Kenneth Walker, I believe. I believe it was Kenneth Walker, and no, it was Devon Witherspoon and Charles Cross. Charles Cross being the tackle, I believe he's the left tackle for the Seattle Seahawks, and Devon Witherspoon being the lockdown corner who's been really, really good all year long. He was fantastic in the Super Bowl, not just in coverage, but in pressuring Drake May. He forced the pressure that caused a pick six by Nwosu at the end of the game. This defense was just very, very good, and part of it was because of the fact that, well, bottom line, this pressure that the front seven was putting on against New England was incredible. But it wasn't just Charles Cross and Devon Witherspoon. Part of that was also Derek Hall, who had a fantastic performance. I believe in that game he had about 2 sacks. I could be wrong. I'll go ahead and double check right now. But I believe in this game, Derek Hall had 2 sacks. He did. He had 2 sacks. The team overall, the defense overall, had 6 sacks in the game, 8 tackles for loss, and 2 interceptions to go along with 6 passing deflections. Drake May was running for his life, 11 QB hits, but I will say Drake May didn't handle the pressure very well. You had Byron Murphy Jr. or Byron Murphy II, who had a fantastic game as well. He had 2 sacks. Devon Witherspoon had a sack. Even the rookie Riley Mills was able to pressure Drake May. I don't know if you guys saw that rep with Jared Wilson down low. Riley Mills just bullied Jared Wilson, the rookie guard, and it was just a rough sight to see overall. This secondary, it really was the best in football, and it really wasn't talked about a lot. Devon Witherspoon, Kobe Bryant, Reek Woolen, Josh Jobe, Nick Emanwari. Nick Emanwari, he was a revelation for them. Let me tell you, Nick Emanwari was fantastic for them. And I didn't even mention Julian Love, who also had that pick, that interception. They really, off that one trade for Russell Wilson, they were able to build a foundation. They got Reek Woolen. They got Devon Witherspoon from that trade as well. And they also just made some great draft picks. Guys like Kobe Bryant, who they drafted, right? Guys like Nwosu. Guys like, I already mentioned Derek Hall. But also some signings as well. Like like Dexter Lawrence, a veteran, a guy who's played for the Cowboys for a very, very long time. Dexter Lawrence was huge in this game as well. He was pressuring the QB as well, and he had a relatively solid year this year. He had, I believe, he had 6 sacks in this season. DeMarcus Lawrence has been on the Cowboys for a long time. I don't know if he'll ever go in their ring of their Hall of Fame, but their Ring of Honor. But he's a Cowboy legend over there. He comes to Seattle first year, and he's a big part of this Seahawks defense that was just so amazing. This Seahawks defense was top 10 in sacks. This Seahawks defense was amazing in terms of rush defense, and they were a top 10 passing defense as well. And what helped is that they had a top 10 offense to go along with it. But I'll talk about the offense in a second. But the story really was this defense and Mike Macdonald, who deserves all the credit in the world. Mike Macdonald does. I mean, he was electrifying. He is a. It really wasn't. It really was just a combination of great drafting from John Schneider, the general manager, phenomenal coaching from Mike Macdonald, and they were getting pressure with 4, but the blitz packages he would send were awesome as well. And Drake May never got comfortable. He never got comfortable in this offense. And because of it, this Seahawks defense was able to dominate. They were able to dominate with ease, with all the ease in the world. Now, regarding the Seahawks offense in this game, nothing crazy, but some of the guys that they ended up drafting, Kenneth Walker was also from that Russell Wilson trade. He won Super Bowl MVP, by the way. You didn't get good production from Jackson Smith-Njigba. He only had 4 catches for 27 yards. Cooper Kupp was the leading receiver with 6 catches and 61 yards. The New England Patriots defense did a good job, but I will say Sam Darnold did the most important thing, is that not turn the ball over and really lean on the run game. Kenneth Walker had 27 carries for 135 yards. He had 161 total yards, and it really was top to bottom a safe overall offensive performance. It was a safe offensive performance, but guess what? You'll take safe every single time if you're the Seahawks, if it means facing this New England Patriots offense. Because truth is, if the 3 teams before the 3 teams before Seattle played it safe, they probably would have won the game. Like, I'm talking about, like, if Jarrett Stidham doesn't turn the ball over last night, they probably win that game and they go on to the Super Bowl. Do they win? Probably not. But yeah, some of the guys they brought into this offense. I mean, the second round draft pick the second round pick AJ Barner, he's been really good for them all year long. He had 519 receiving yards. As a tight end, that's incredible. I mean, Jackson Smith-Njigba was the offensive player of the year. He was always going to be a threat. Somebody that a trade that really went under the radar was the Rashid Shaheed trade that the Seattle Seahawks decided to pull the trigger on. Guys, I don't know. Look, they needed a wide receiver 3, and a punt returner, and Rashid Shaheed filled that void seamlessly. And he won't get a lot of credit because he's the wide receiver 3 and a quick returner. But the truth is that without him, I mean, who knows where Seattle goes, right? He was a huge factor in the kick return game. He was a huge factor as a wide receiver 3. He was huge. He was huge in this game. I want to talk about Sam Darnold for a second because the truth is Sam Darnold was in this AFC East for a very, very long time. He was in the AFC East for a very long time, and I had my mind made up about him. I'll be honest. I thought he was not good. He had years to prove it, but he was not good. But I'm not going to lie, when he went to the Vikings, he spent a year in the Kyle Shanahan offense as a backup to Brock Purdy. And let me tell you, I think that year was important for him because The next year he goes to Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell, another great offensive mind, and the team wins 14 games. And they're one of the better offenses in the league. And then the next year, and then the Vikings make the, in hindsight, pretty poor decision of letting go of Sam Darnold to replace him with J.J. McCarthy, and we see how that result panned out. Sam Darnold went to Seattle. They brought in offensive mind Clint Kubiak, and Sam Darnold, I mean, at the time, like, you look at guys like Jackson Smith and Jigba and Cooper Kupp, and you don't think to yourself, oh, well, this is a... Because Jackson Smith and Jigba, at the time, was not regarded as this elite wide receiver. He had the upside. He had everything to be a great wide receiver, but he hadn't shown it yet. This year, he didn't just show it. He became Offensive Player of the Year. Okay, he was fantastic. And Clint Kubiak and John Schneider surrounded Sam Darnold with weapons, even though the weapons weren't as good as the ones in Minnesota. You could argue that. I mean, you could argue the offensive game plan was a lot more sustainable because they had, in my opinion, a consistent run game with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, whereas the Vikings never did. And so they had a run game that they could lean on. Did the Seahawks? They had a solid offensive line. It wasn't perfect, but it was solid. And just like that, I mean, here we are. You surround that with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold didn't turn the ball over, but he was also electrifying throughout the entire playoffs. His best game of his career came against the Rams, where he passed for 346 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, the Rams defense, they're not world beaters. Their secondary is definitely flawed. But, I mean, if we just really pan out for a second and consider what Sam Darnold had done against the Rams prior to that, he wasn't exactly crazy good either. I mean, the game before against the Rams, 270 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The first 3 quarters of that game, he was really, really bad. He turned it around in the fourth, obviously. But, I mean, overall, it was not that good against the Rams that game. But guess what? Doesn't matter, because later on in the playoffs, he got his lick back in tremendous fashion. So top to bottom, they signed Sam Darnold to this cheap deal, right? $30 million. And yet, and you want to know something? You want to know something? It really gives you a perspective of how quickly are we giving up on QBs and not giving them another chance. I'm thinking of QBs right now like Trey Lance, right? Like, what if we gave Trey Lance another shot? What about Anthony Richardson, right? Like, what if we gave him more time? Like, even J.J. McCarthy, I already know, I know, like, I already said what I said about him, but, like, what if we give him more time, right? Now, not everybody can be a Sam Darnold, right? Not everybody can turn their season around like turn their career around like Sam Darnold did, but it really does give you a perspective of why can't we give these QBs more time to grow? We gave, like that's why, like, I don't mind giving, like, guys like Tua Tagovailoa, we gave him a long time, but guess what? I'd rather give him that long time than just give up on him early. You know what I mean? I rather, now, granted, it didn't work out for us, right? And maybe the signs were there that it wouldn't work out for us. But guess what? We gave it a shot. It didn't work out. We're going to rebuild now. And now we're going to move forward. So, it is what it is. I want to talk about the Patriots for a second. I don't want to discredit the Patriots here, man. I really don't. But, man. What a bad look in the Super Bowl. What a bad look. What a horrible look. So you go 3 playoff games facing the poorest of QB play. From Justin Herbert, from CJ Stroud, who I would argue had the worst QB performance of all time in that game. And then you have a backup in Jarrett Stidham, who hadn't played in 2 years. The Patriots got dealt a great hand. And I don't think it's crazy to say that they, I don't want to say they lucked their way into a Super Bowl. I don't want to say that. I don't want to discredit the Patriots defense, because the truth is, like the Patriots defense made everybody look bad. I mean, Sam Darnold even in this Super Bowl game didn't look very like formidable. He really didn't. All he had to do was just not turn the ball over. That's really all Sam Darnold had to do. He then would deliver with a touchdown pass to AJ Barner later on in the game, but for the most part, he wasn't very good, and the New England Patriots defense stepped up. So I don't want to make this the New England Patriots defense got bailed out either. But at the same time, we have to look at this offense, the New England Patriots offense, and admit something. Excuse me. Yeah, they weren't ever good this postseason. And Drake May wasn't good this postseason. I would say, like, it'd be kind to call him average in this postseason. It'd be putting it nicely to call him average in this postseason. Drake May's best performance of the year came against the best performance statistically, that is, came in the Super Bowl. 295 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. But in the first 3 quarters, let me tell you, in the first 3 quarters, it was rough, bro. It was rough. I think he had 60 total yards in the first quarter. He had 60 total passing yards in the first quarter. After 6 quarters, he had 60 yards. 235 yards in the fourth. And even in the fourth, he wasn't very good. He was really bad in the Super Bowl. He wasn't very good against Denver. He wasn't very good. Look, say what you want. He wasn't very good against Houston either. He had 3 passing touchdowns. Didn't pass, but he turned the ball over 3 times. He got sacked 5 times. Look, these are good defenses that he's facing. These are good defenses that he's facing. But the bottom line is this. He faced good defenses, and he didn't really play that well against any of the defenses. He had more turnovers. He had more turnovers. Apologies. He turned the ball over twice in the game against the Chargers. The Chargers had an opportunity to score, and they didn't in the first quarter, and that was it. The truth is that Drake May didn't play well the entire postseason. He did not play well. And people tried to tell me that people tried to tell me, oh, he was playing average. And you want to know what? I gave them that. I gave them the benefit of calling him average. I let it happen. But looking back, I was too nice. I was way too nice, because the truth is that Drake May was well below average in this postseason. Well below average. Well below. And guess what? Now we're here. And in the biggest game of his career, in the Super Bowl, look, the offensive line was not good. And I want to make this very clear. The offensive line all postseason long was terrible. It was a terrible offensive line. Right? Drake May did no favors to himself, however. I mean, he did himself no favors. None. At all. Whatsoever. But the offensive line was really bad. It's his second year, though. So we're gonna give him a pass. It's his second year. Like, I'm not going to, oh my gosh, he's a choke artist. Look, he didn't play well. It's his second year in the NFL. The team clearly overachieved. Like, they had the easiest schedule in the entire NFL. They got a great hand in the playoffs. They went up against a significantly better team and lost. They got dominated. But they made it farther than a lot of teams did. They did. And guess what? Drake May can say what not a lot of QBs can say. They made it to the Super Bowl. Josh Allen can't say that. Lamar Jackson can't say that. And he got sacked the most times ever in a postseason by a QB that made it to the Super Bowl. 20 times, man. That guy got sacked 20 times. 6 times in the Super Bowl. Ridiculous. But yeah, what can the Dolphins learn? What can the Dolphins learn from these 2 teams? One, I think from the Patriots side, there's something to learn. A great QB can change things. Look what Drake May did for the New England Patriots. Look, I know. I just finished like going off on him for his postseason play. But look what he did for him. Look what great QB play can do. Throughout the entire, like a great QB play. He didn't play great in the playoffs, But throughout the regular season, he was second in MVP voting. He was good. He was really good. Awesome. But it wasn't enough to win the Super Bowl, and that sucks. But guess what? It was enough to win 3 playoff games. And another thing is that don't underestimate the power of a great defense. And this can go for both sides. A great defense can go a long way. It really can. It really can. It can go a long way. It can. The New England Patriots went all the way to the Super Bowl because of their defense. The Seattle Seahawks, look, they did what they did because of their defense. The dark side did what they did. So if I'm the Dolphins, I'm taking, okay, if we hit on our QB, if we get the right QB, we have a chance to win football games. Now, it's not easy to say, oh, just draft an MVP candidate. It's not that simple. It's not that simple. But guess what? If you find the right QB, you find a good QB, a great QB, that's a difference. That's a difference maker. And then another thing, for Sam Darnold, regarding Sam Darnold from the Seahawks side, what we can learn, you don't need a top 5 QB. Hell, you don't even need a top 10 QB. I'm not sure if Sam Darnold's a better QB than Drake May. I'm not sure, but guess what? He had a better supporting cast. Way better supporting cast. Jackson Smith and Jigba, Cooper Kupp, A.J. Barner, Kenneth Walker, Rashid Shaheed, Zach Charbonnet when he was healthy. The weapons were there. The weapons were there. And he had a good offense. And the offensive line was not perfect, right? It wasn't a perfect offensive line, but it was good enough. But guess what? Sam Darnold isn't just a product of the weapons around him. He's also someone who can escape the pocket. Also someone who takes risks, takes shots downfield. He has the arm strength to do so. Sam Darnold, I don't know if you could call him top 10 QB. I don't know if you could like legitimize him as one necessarily. But he had the surrounding cast. So a QB can make all the difference in the world, but a QB is not all you need. Pick a lane. Pick a lane. Preferably the one that won the Super Bowl, but pick a lane. You want to get a good quarterback. Or get a good quarterback and surround him. Do something like that. Now, this is all easier said than done because, frankly, you need good GM. So that's why I'm hoping John Eric Sullivan can get it together. He can get it together, him and Jeff Hafley, and build something. Build something. I don't expect year one to be enjoyable, but guess what? We'll have to build something. So yeah, the Super Bowl was a learning experience for a lot of teams, in my opinion, and what the difference a good QB can make, and a difference that a QB surrounded by the right parts can make. Look, Sam Darnold's a Super Bowl champion, and I don't think anybody can say that they expected that. Shout out to the Seahawks. Shout out to the Patriots too. 2 best teams in the NFL. Well, yeah, the 2 best teams in the NFL. And it was an honor watching that Super Bowl and witnessing one of the greatest defenses ever in the Seattle Seahawks. A great defensive battle. I don't know about you guys. I love a good defensive battle. I really do. Unfortunately, we have to talk about the Miami Heat on this channel. Because I am a Heat fan. You guys see it. Wrong way. You guys see it. Heat fan. Love it. We lost last night to the Utah Jazz. And I saw a tweet. And I'm going to go ahead and find it if they let me. There you go. I'm going to go ahead and find it and look for it for you guys. So you guys can see this tweet. And I think it really summarizes how some Heat fans think. I could read the tweet, but I think it's better just showing you guys. Whoops. Here we go. I think it's best. I think it's best for me to show you guys. You know what? I'll just read it because I can't seem to find it. But regardless, let me read it to you guys right here. Sean from 5 Reasons Sports said, "It's an inexcusable loss, no doubt about that. But someone please help me understand this. They leaned into the core young guys tonight, likely at the expense of best lineups." Best lineups, he said in quotations. "Why does the result matter? You can't have it both ways." And that's an interesting point because he does have a point. I think some Heat fans do genuinely think that they are ready for a tank, and they really are not. They are not ready for a tank. They're just not. They're not ready for a tank. But where I think Sean is being disingenuous here is that where he's being disingenuous is that he seems to think that the Miami Heat have picked a direction. And they have. But let me rephrase. Sean seems to think that Heat fans are stupid and they just don't know what they want. And some of them are, Sean. Some of them certainly are. Believe me, I know some. But Heat fans had just heard at the trade deadline that they're trying to win now. That's what they heard. They heard that the year after, the year before that, and the year before that. That they're trying to win now. This franchise has always found a lot of pride in winning. And we've won plenty in the last 25 years, right? 3 championships. I believe it's 6 NBA Finals appearances, maybe 7. But here's the thing, and this is the analogy that I'd like to present to you guys. Say you have a car. You have a car, right? And you have a destination that you want to get to. You go to the car, you turn on the car kind of sputters, but at the end of the day, it turns on. The car turns on. The car's on, so you can drive it. You can drive the car. But how far can you drive the car? As you drive the car, you begin to realize the car's kind of shaking, the tires are kind of awkward, right? The headlights are just all on. But imagine the driver of this car saying, we're going to go all the way to, say, I live in Kendall, so let's say we're going to Orlando, right? 4-hour drive. So we're trying to explain to him in the back seat, hey, this car's headlights are all on. The car's kind of shaking. We're barely really, the car's barely even on. What are we doing? Why don't we just get a new car? Why don't we just find a new car? The guy turns around and he says, hey, no, this car right here is this is the car we're using to get all the way over there. This is the car we're using. This is it. This is the car we're using. And in the back of your mind, the passengers are thinking to themselves, this car's going to break down. It's going to break down. It's going to break down. Eventually, it is. The car is going to break down. It is. But guess what? You have no choice but to go on with it. Even though the car is going to break down halfway, you have to go along with it. Even though it can barely get on the highway. It can barely get on the highway. We're still going to try to use it. That's the problem with this Heat team, is that they did pick a direction, but they're driving a car that is not suitable to go to the location they need to go. You're not going to the NBA Finals with Bam Adebayo as your best player. Sorry. You're not. You're not going to have some Jimmy Butler miracle performance like in 2023. You don't have guys like Goran Dragic to lead you in scoring. Tyler Hero is not the 6th man on this team anymore. He is our 2nd best player, and he's barely playing basketball right now because he's hurt. The bottom line is this. This is unfortunate, and it's a hard pill for some of you to swallow. The Heat did pick a direction. But it's not the right direction to go on. It's not the right one. But if we're going to go this direction, can we at least fix the car? Can we at the very least fix the car, take it to a mechanic? Can we take it somewhere? to fix it. And the driver says, no, it's good. It's fine. We can still win. We can still go all the way. What are you doing? The car's going to break down. We might get into an ugly car crash like last year. Remember last year? We got into that ugly car crash. We barely got out of it. No, we're still using this car. You see that's the thing with this Heat team. They want to just be able to get on the highway. But once they get on the highway, they're dead. They're dead. They're dead. I don't know how long I'm going to play out this car analogy, but they're cooked. It's over. It is over. It's done. It is done. That's why this losing to the Utah Jazz last night is further proof. And we've blown so many leads this year. We blew another one last night, up 15 against the Jazz, who are tanking. And yes, we played our young guys. Yes, we played our young guys. That's good. That's a good thing. Have them get run. Have them get run. That's a good thing. Only good thing about last night is that we didn't win. But I love seeing Cass get 30-plus minutes. Love seeing that. He's clearly going to be our point guard for the future. But that's only if they allow it to happen. Meaning, I don't want Drew Smith minutes. Thank you. Prefer not to have that. Would prefer not to. Respectfully. But what can I even say? What can I say to convince people that this team might need some new ownership? Might need a new front office, a new voice. Because how many times am I going to listen to Spo say, oh, we're going to get it done. We're going to figure this out. He said it last year. He said it this year. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Oh, my goodness. And I think this tweet sums it up pretty perfectly. Pat might not be the top dog in the organization anymore, but his philosophy is drilled into the brains of everyone in the organization. Spo thinks like him. Nick thinks like him. Andy thinks like him. Even Bam thinks like him. We're cooked until we get a fresh voice. And I don't fully... Maybe there is some flaw around it. Maybe there's some flaw behind the statement he just made. Maybe it's unfair to Pat Riley, but hey, if we're so stuck on our old ways, to the point where it is the detriment to the team, who's going to stop us? Who's going to stop this thing? Who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? Who's going to make the hard decision? I don't trust this team to do it. It's hard right now being a Heat fan. It is. It's difficult. We've got to find a way to win against teams that are, I guess you can say, trying to lose. You know how embarrassing that quote is, Bam? You know how embarrassing that quote is? That's an embarrassing quote. Think about the quote he just said. We have to find a way to win against teams that are trying to lose. This is a team trying to win. This is a team trying to win games. And we're blowing leads against a tanking team. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. What else? I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. I've exhausted my energy trying to talk about this Heat team. I think the bottom line is this. The bottom line is this, and I'll speak very well into the mic so that people understand me. The Heat picked a direction, and they have to commit to that direction at all costs. At all costs. If they think that they could just build a bunch of role players and not get a star, they have another thing coming. Because the truth is, the role players that Miami has are actually not bad at all. We have great role players. I mean, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Davion Mitchell, an incredible role player. Andrew Wiggins. I mean, these are guys that are awesome if we just had a star. A true star. Not Norman Powell, not Bam Adebayo, not Tyler Hero. A true all-around star. It makes me wish that Cooper Flagg was on the team. That we had a chance at the lottery to get Cooper Flagg, man. Because if Cooper Flagg were on this team, he'd be in heaven. Team trying to win. Team trying to win games. A roster, a scouting department that is so good at finding talent. Because make no mistake, for all the faults that this Heat front office has, one thing they know how to do is find talent. This front office is bad at making things happen in terms of getting stars. But in terms of finding talent, Khalil Ware, Kaspers Yakushonis both look really good already. Really, the only one we've missed is Jovic. And he's still young, so we don't know. But regardless, I've exhausted talking about the Miami Heat. I don't know how long I've even been talking about it. It feels like way too long. Feels like way too long. It just does. Even though it hasn't been. Oh, my goodness, man. Oh, my goodness. All right, well, I mean, this entire season where I'm going to have to hope and pray that there's a win streak that starts. The next couple of games we play is actually ridiculously, stupidly easy. It's why the loss against the Jazz makes no sense. It's why the loss makes no sense. It's why the loss makes no sense. Over the next couple of games, we're going to be facing the Pelicans, the Hawks, the Grizzlies, the Bucks. If we took care of business against the Jazz, there's legitimately a chance we go on a 6-game win streak. And you know what? If that 6-game win streak happens, we're well over 500 facing off against the Sixers, and Lord knows what can happen. Lord knows what can happen. But right now, instead, we're one game above 500. 3 games out of the 6th seed. 1.5 game behind the 7th seed. It feels like playing is inevitable. Guys. It does. And it's sad. It's a sad reality. But hey, that's all I got. Hopefully the Heat end up turning around. Football season is over. I will be dropping an off-season plan for the Miami Dolphins very, very soon. Probably next week on Tuesday. That'll be a part of the Dallas Sports Pod. But we'll see, man. I'm excited. To see what the Dolphins do this offseason. I'm not excited that we're to the point that I think we're going to win. But I am excited that this Dolphins team is, on a direction where we know we have a direction. We have a direction that has to rebuild. So can't say the same about the Miami Heat right now. We have a direction is to win now, and we're not winning. So it is what it is. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much. New video out next Tuesday. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Dale.